Hi, this is VR Tapscott. Welcome to another episode of Recycled Drivel, where not only do I take stuff I wrote a couple of years ago and talk about it, I'm also slowly converting it to video. I consider this pretty much the ultimate upcycle. All rights reserved, copyright 2025 by VR Tapscott. And this is podcast number 10, Electrifying, written September 3rd, 2022. Yes, I cribbed this one from comments between myself and a friend. Names have been changed to protect the innocent or someone. I posted a memory from Facebook 10 years ago commenting on how I felt that it was asinine to be willing to pull all the oil out of the Middle East oil fields instead of our own. And it seemed to me that we're so worried over environmental impacts of getting said oil, we'd better off keeping it at home where we can watch over it and make sure it's being done in the safest, both life and environment, way. Which follows is a comment thread. I hope you enjoy and it doesn't upset you. From an undisclosed poster. By 2035, we'll be driving EVs anyway. Another undisclosed poster. Maybe. I'd honestly like to have a Bolt or a Volt, but in the end, that power has to come from someplace. And mostly what it is now is natural gas, which is another item that'll go away sooner or later. In my opinion, until we start using slightly scary fission, which has been safely powering our naval vessels for nearly 3 generations, or fusion, which hasn't been very successful so far, but I have faith it'll happen, then we'll be bound to fossil fuels for the foreseeable future. Windmills are a great idea, but they really don't pay. I mean, they're hideously expensive to build, maintain, and replace. I've always loved solar, and Jane's house runs on solar, 300-watt solar panels. But it's just not feasible at this time. It takes too much square footage to power even a small area, let alone Seattle or San Francisco. Fossil fuel is the only thing that works until we get fusion. As they say, change my mind. Undisclosed poster. Personally, I think EVs are the way of the future. They have fractions of fossil fuels to produce the electricity, but I'd like to see better range and more faster charging stations. Solar has distinct possibilities, but the solar panels need to be smaller and more efficient. I have doubts about fission, but who knows where the technology will take us 10 years, or 20. Undisclosed poster. I remember sitting on the couch reading Reader's Digest. This would have been about 1974. Fusion was really all the rage at the time. It was just around the corner. Now, nearly 50 years later, it's still sitting and it's still just around the corner. Right now, the grid can't handle the power requirements of all the electric vehicles there might be, even in the next 10 years. I mean, we're sucking hundreds of amps to get a decent charge rate, and that's just one vehicle. The new batteries are so much better than they were, and the new solar panels are so much better and cheaper. Harbor Freight has their 100-watt solar panel on sale right now for $100. Their 2,000-watt converter for $130. The panels are really great, high efficiency and low price. I might go down and buy another one tomorrow, but really, the biggest issue I have is that I only have about 70 amp hours worth of battery to charge. That'll be sufficient to run my computer and a small desk lamp for pretty much as long as I want to run it, but I definitely can't run an air conditioner or a heater off that. Sadly, for a few $100, I can buy a nice quiet generator that'll give me a couple thousand watts of steady power, and it'll run for hours on just a few gallons of gas. It makes it hard to be enthusiastic about spending as much money as it would take to go full solar, even for my tiny 4x10 Radar Shack. I've been a little obsessed by solar ever since elementary school when I was introduced to our Mr. Sun. It never came to fruition any more than fusion did, and I've always felt a little betrayed by all the potential that never went anywhere. I bought little solar cells and various solar equipment for many years, but it was mostly just a curiosity. Right now, it takes 4 days to charge your Tesla Model S from a standard everyday outlet. It charges the rate of 2 miles per hour. That is, it takes an hour to charge the battery enough to take the Tesla 2 miles. To get that down to a 30-minute charge, it takes a massive 480-volt system with 300 amps of power. Just as a comparison, my house, and probably yours, has a 200-amp service to run the entire house, including heating and air conditioning, your stove, refrigerator, your iPhone charger. How long does your Tesla S run on that 30-minute charge? 170 miles. Where's Mr. Fusion when we need it, huh? By the way, I did read some articles and doing some off-the-cuff research for this. It does say that the grid can handle electric cars. But a somewhat less rosy outlook is from the standpoint of the grid right there in your neighborhood. In a hood of 11 houses, it takes one charger running 240 volts to achieve level 2 charging, which takes 6 to 30 hours to charge, in your neighborhood to cause issues with that tiny neighborhood grid. The weak point is the transformer, that big cylinder that hangs on the pole. Sorry for going on about this. I'm going to steal this entire post with some editing for tomorrow's blog. It's a good swan song, I think. Undisclosed poster. No need to apologize. We're coming to the end of our fossil fuels. At some point, we're going to make a change. There just won't be a choice. I'm picturing small nuclear reactors in the back of everyone's car. Undisclosed poster. Yep. I mean, it's a pool. And right now it's so huge that nobody really thinks about it. And along with that is political. The big thing, the elephant in the room, is the fact that it is finite. We're sucking it out at the rate of 20 million barrels a day. Let me see that again. 20 million barrels per day. I don't know. I didn't read the numbers. But my world, a barrel was 55 gallons. And that's just the U.S. So multiply that by, all the countries in the world? Undisclosed poster. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, and we're back to horses. Probably a team of 6 oxen could haul your Mercedes along at 5 miles an hour. How long do we have? 47 years. Read that again. 47 years. And that doesn't just mean gasoline. That means no polyester blankets, no resin deck chairs, no vinyl flooring, no plastic window frames, no iPhones. The sad thing is we're using up the truly non-removables so we can save the wood in the forest. And pretty soon we'll be back to burning the forest to stay warm in the winter. Wave freezing to death versus conservation. Tell me which one wins. Another thought, if we'd stayed the course and kept using nuclear fission in the 50s and 60s, we wouldn't be worrying much about fossil fuels, or even global warming, at least if we assume global warming is caused by burning fossil fuels. Yes, the specter of nuclear plant meltdown was scary, but what's more scary than having 47 years of oil before it's gone? Permanently.